Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches. And this week we had 10 watches in the drop, but we now only have 7 available to view right now, and another one that has just gone back to the watchmakers just for some fine tuning on the movements, but it will still be in this drop and we'll talk about it in a little bit. Now, before we crack on with everything, as always, if you are new here, we release watches every single Saturday. So excuse the noise of Clerkenwell. We release watches every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Here in the UK. It's accompanied by this video where we take a closer look at the watches that are in the drop, if they're still available, of course. And yeah, that's it. There's links to all the watches in the description, timestamps. You can skip to whichever one you want to see. It's nice and simple. Now, this drop video goes up on Saturday the 24th, and I am recording this on Thursday the 15th. I'm recording it well in advance, and that is because, as a lot of you know, we are expecting our second child, our baby boy, very soon, imminently, to be honest. Our induction is booked in for Friday the 23rd. However, we're having some tests and he's measuring a bit larger, so they might want to bring it forward. They may want to switch to a cesarean. We're sort of up in the air at the moment, and we have been for about a month. So I want to thank you all for your patience and understanding whilst my appointments have been a lot shorter and a lot more limited in time, and I've been in the office for fewer days, obviously making sure I'm home, present just in case, supporting my wife, and also I have a 2-year-old daughter. So balancing all of those things whilst running a business has been very difficult, but you've all been amazing. So thank you all very, very much. It is greatly appreciated. But basically that means by the time you're watching this, all being well, touch wood, our son will be born healthy, well, and he'll be here, which is kind of amazing. So yes, that's where we're at. That's why I'm recording in advance. And I'm even working on Saturday the 31st of August drop. If all goes to plan, this means there shouldn't be actually any stoppage in drops during this whole time. So there should be drops continuing whilst I'm out of office, obviously spending some time with my family and our new baby boy, and being completely present. And then when I come back, it should all be in place that a new drop is in the line, if that makes sense. So if all goes to plan, this will continue unchanged, which is pretty impressive. I'm quite proud of that, and that's thanks to you guys and girls selling us watches, consigning watches, doing all the good stuff, keeping the train going, if you will. So thank you all very, very much. It is greatly appreciated. Now, let's talk about what is on wrist. This is a watch I have had now for quite some time. I bought it from the original family. It is an absolutely gorgeous 1917 trench watch. Let me find my details. Yeah, so it's a 1917 Wilson & Gill sterling silver 35mm trench watch. I bought it from the original family, as I say. It has a really lovely inscription on the back where it's presented to the gentleman who I believe was the grandfather of the woman I bought it off. It's always a shame when these kind of watches get sold, because obviously I sort of encourage the family to keep the watches. I say we can repair them, get them all sorted if you want it to look new again, because obviously this is well worn, the lugs are bent, everything's scratched. This is how it's been sort of kept since he wore it all those years ago, 100 odd years ago. And I always try and encourage them to keep it in the family, give it to a nephew or niece or someone like that. But when it comes when push comes to shove and they just want to sell it, I try to buy them and keep them for myself. So I actually have a few watches like this that I bought from the original families that have the story. I have a bit of the history and everything like that, because I just think it's amazing. And if I can continue that story going and have it all there, then why not? You know, as long as I'm in a position to do so. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. Really cool watch that obviously I don't wear often, and it keeps surprisingly good time. I'm very impressed with it. What is it, 107 years old? That is insane. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing. So before we crack on with the watches on the table, and again, I just want to apologise. With the heat at the moment, it is very hot in the UK at the moment. The humidity is ridiculous. I've obviously got the air conditioning on, which requires the window partially open. So you hear everything on the street. And for those of you that have been to the office, we're based on Clerkenwell Road, which is just up the road from Farringdon Station. It is a major street of London, really. A lot of flow traffic going straight to Central if you keep going that way. So yeah, it's very loud, I apologise. But anyway, watches that have sold in this week's drop that on here are a gorgeous 1950s Whitnall dress watch. It's actually the second time I've had it around. It was one that was in the personal collection. I'm always happy to take these watches back, and to the person who bought that, I hope you're enjoying it. I'm sure you are. Really lovely thing. And then the second watch was a watch I was really excited to show you guys, but unfortunately it has sold. The new gentleman is absolutely loving it, which is the main thing, but it's a gorgeous 1971 Omega Constellation chronometer, 18 karat gold. The whole thing is 18 karat gold, a reference 168047 with the 1001 caliber. The bracelet is immense. The whole thing weighs about 5,000 pounds of scrap gold value, which is insane when you think about it. You know, you're wearing a watch, and we were asking 7.5 grand for it. 5 grand in that is in the intrinsic value of the material itself. You just don't get that with watches typically, so kind of amazing. Not that you'd ever melt it, but again, it's one of those things, when you wear it, there's something really cool knowing almost all of the value is actually in the material, which I think is pretty cool. And the final watch that isn't on the table, which I'll talk briefly about because it's in repair with the watchmaker, just getting some fine tuning on the movements, is a beautiful, I guess you'd say ladies, 1970s Waltham with a bark finish throughout on the case and the integrated bracelet. It's a reference 876 with a manually wound 17 jewel Waltham signed movement. As I say, circa 1970s, and it's 22.5mm by 25mm lug to lug, 7mm on the thickness and 16.5mm at the widest point of the lugs tapering down, and it will fit up to about a 6.9, 6.8 inch wrist. So yeah, really lovely watch that will be on the website going into the drop as normal. It's just not here for the recording because I'm doing it so far in advance, but I wanted to get the video out to you guys and hopefully that give you a brief bit of information. Obviously once it's back, if someone is really interested, I can do the normal shoot as I do and send it over to them on request. But to be honest, £250, it's a bargain. It's a really beautiful thing. It's going to be service ready to go, back to the warranty, so just snap it up and enjoy. Okay, now that all of that is out of the way, that was quite a long intro, so I do apologise. Let's crack on with the 7 watches on the table. We're going to start with 3 Cartiers in this week's drop. We have a gorgeous 18 karat gold Cartier Cougar. This is the larger 33mm size with its original buckle as well. So let's take a closer look at this one. So starting this week off with the Cartier Cougar. This is the larger 33mm reference, which is the reference 887904 from the circa 1990s. Now I've got a cloth here just so I can keep wiping it because it is fresh from polish and it is a high polish case, meaning obviously I want to keep it protected, but also you know, it picks up fingerprints quite quickly, especially when recording these videos in the hot humidity. So I thought you'd all appreciate it if I didn't have sweaty fingerprints all over it. So you can see it ticking away there, beautiful black Roman numerals and blued hands. As you can see, date over at 3 o'clock, and the iconic Cougar bezel with the stepped case that leads to these nice curved lugs, a cabochon crown at 3 o'clock, again sort of things we come to expect from Cartier, and a nice vertically brushed case back right there with the reference and serial all stated, quartz, 18 karat, hallmarks and so on, all screwed in. And yeah, it's a quartz movement inside. We've had a fresh battery done on the watch, of course, and I've replaced the strap that was on it with a nice 16mm leather strap, and it has its beautiful original 18 karat gold Cartier buckle right there, if it can get in focus, which again has been polished, and you have a very attractive back of the buckle, if I can show that, where it has a little Cartier rose on there. I've not actually seen that before, along with all the hallmarks and everything you expect as well. So yeah, a really beautiful watch from the 1990s, and a great option if you're after a gold Cartier that isn't going to break the bank, because right now Cartier is on a sort of upward trajectory. It's on a hype. People are really going hard for them, and I get it, they're great watches, but there's still a couple of models that I think a lot of people are sleeping on, and this Cougar in 18 karat gold is certainly one of them. So let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist. Now this strap obviously does need wearing in. It's a thicker strap that again needs creasing in if you are going to wear it, so I've not done it too tight for the purpose of recording this clip, but 33mm by 38mm lug to lug, only 6mm on the thickness, so incredibly thin, and 17mm on the lug, so endless options for this one. If you look around, you will find certain ones that work. From there over to a Cartier Santos Galbee. This is obviously the quartz model in 29mm, steel and gold, really lovely thing, fresh from polishers. So it's had a nice polish, fresh battery, all that kind of stuff. All of them have had a fresh battery, as you'd expect. So let's take a closer look at that one. Next up, a Cartier Santos Galbee, absolutely gorgeous in steel and gold. As you can see, stainless steel and 18 karat gold with that high polished bezel and the polished screws throughout the bracelet. As we lead down to the clasp, you've got a very nice white dial right there, which has a nice matte finish. Again, Roman numerals throughout, exploding again as we'd expect from the Santos range. Blued hands and date nicely placed down at 6 o'clock. You've got that iconic Santos case with those thick, bold lugs and pinholes for the strap right there. Blue cabochon set crown right there, again as you'd expect from Cartier. And the wonderful Cartier Santos bracelet. I would argue this is one of the most iconic bracelets out there. It's very well known and instantly recognizable. And you're presented with a nice folding clasp right there as you pop it open like so. A nice tight clasp as well. You've got 2 holes of adjustment on there, and obviously the links are adjustable as well. Nice screw down case back with all the reference, serial, everything stated as you'd expect. And this is a reference 187901. It's a quartz model from circa 1990s, and it's had a fresh polish, fresh battery, and is ready to be worn and enjoyed. It does also come with a Cartier box, which is nice. No paperwork or anything like that, but it comes back with our warranty, again as you would expect. I think these are great value for money when you consider two-tone Santos prices right now, and the fact is quartz, again, it doesn't bother me. You know, I've said it before, for me, Cartier is a design house. They do beautiful designs, iconic designs that stand the test of time, and putting a quartz movement in there doesn't really bother me because, again, the emphasis is on the design, and if anything, the ease of use with quartz makes it quite attractive as well. So let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, comfortably on my 7-inch wrist. I think that's the perfect size personally for me. Obviously the larger sizes wear great, the smaller sizes also wear great. I actually owned a smaller size automatic many years ago, but I think that looks absolutely brilliant. So this is 29mm by 41mm lug to lug, only 6.5mm on the thickness, so incredibly thin, really low to the wrist, and 18mm on the lugs. There is people like David at Strap Tailor who will make straps that will fit this case, because obviously you have to have incredibly thin ends to fit, because it has to be, you can see where that hole is and where the case is super close. So keep that in mind, you won't just be able to put any regular strap on this watch. But to be honest, the Santos and the bracelet is king. So go check it out on the website today. And the final Cartier on the table, a 2000s Cartier Tank Musty Cartier, which are the silver ones. This is 925 sterling silver, and this one has the really nice Arabic numerals with the Cartier repeat logo on the dial. 25 by 33mm, original clasp as well. Let's take a closer look. Now on to a Cartier Tank, part of the Musty Cartier range, which was the sort of more affordable range that they made in the 90s and 2000s, using different materials and different movements, different dials and so on. And in my opinion, they actually experimented quite a bit more with this range than they did the standard range. And this one right here features a lovely dial. It won't be to everyone's taste, but I think it's very nice. You've got those Arabic numerals with the repeat Cartier Must logo throughout the back of the dial, repeating itself. Very, very nicely done. Blued hands, as you'd expect with the Cartiers, and date over at 3 o'clock. And you're presented with a classic tank case with the screws at the side, cabochon set crown, and as we flip it over, you will see everything stated right there, including the hallmarks for the 925 case. Now these are sterling silver, but they are basically like chrome plated over the top, I guess is what you'd call it. And the reason they do that is to actually protect the silver. So you'll see with these, they don't tarnish as bad, and this one has been re-chrome plated at some point in its past. It wasn't done by us, but it was done more than recent enough that we haven't got to bother doing it again anytime soon. We have had a new crystal fitted, a crown, and the battery replaced. The reason we had a new crystal, these are not plastic, they are glass, and the old one had scratched, so we've replaced it, of course. We've also fitted a new leather strap. This is not the Cartier strap, but the original Cartier strap is included in the package, and you've got your original Cartier folding buckle right there, which is beautiful and elegant, like a belt buckle. This is a reference 2414. As I say, it is quartz and it's from the circa 2000s. No box or papers with this one, but it's priced incredibly well. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Again, the strap would need to be folded in a bit more to fit me comfortably, but I don't want to crease the strap too much before the new owner gets it. So this is 25mm by 33mm lug to lug. Again, only 6mm on the thickness, so super thin, and 19mm on the lugs. Endless options really, because you can put a standard strap on the watch, but you have to get specialized straps to fit the buckle. The reason being, and the way you adjust it, is this part folds underneath basically. So you unfold it out like so, and then you feed it through to where you need it to be, so on, and then fold it back through. By the way, I'm doing this through the camera lens, so I apologize in advance if you can't see or I can't see. And then you fold it back over like so, and you see, if it will focus, it tucks away underneath on the actual strap. So nice and easy. So yeah, go check it out on the website today. From there over to the very attractive, in my opinion, one of the most attractive Seamasters actually. This is the, and by Seamaster I mean the modern ones. This is the Seamaster 300 Tokyo 2020 Olympics edition with the blue bezel. Again, fresh from polishers. It looks pretty much brand new, so a really great opportunity to pick it up at a great price as well. So let's take a closer look. And here we go, another one fresh from polish. Now it goes, well, it doesn't go without saying, but what we request with our polishers is always a light polish. Now I would rather there still be a few faint hairline scratches here and there that you could see if you're really looking for them, than going way too hard on the polish and losing edges and just going, you know, it just doesn't look good. So I would always rather a light polish, and the polishers we use are brilliant. They do a fantastic job. And yeah, they listen to what we request, which is great. So this is the Omega Seamaster Tokyo 2020 Olympics edition. The Olympics in Paris has just finished up a couple of days ago, so kind of great timing really to get this one up, especially if you have any sort of connection or care for the Olympics, because as we take a look at the open case back, you can see Tokyo 2020 stated right there, which I believe is a discrepancy because obviously the 2020 Olympics didn't go ahead exactly on time, if I'm not mistaken. It started in 2021. I'd have to double check that. So kind of cool that it's got that history of it with COVID and everything like that, and all the delays that came with that. But you've got a beautiful blue ceramic bezel, a jet white dial with the waves right there, white indices, all contrasted with black, and the pop of red on Seamaster. It's beautifully done, well executed, and looks brilliant. The contrast is wonderful. And the great thing about it is it doesn't have anything that screams Olympics on the dial. It's not like they've put all the logos right there and all the rings or anything that screams Olympics. So if you have no connection whatsoever to the Olympics, like myself, I actually have to confess I didn't really watch any of it this year, which is terrible. I know some people are going to scream at me for that, but hey, a bit busy. So I didn't watch any of it, and it doesn't bother me, right? So to have a watch like this, it's all about the design, and it doesn't scream that. So it's great because you're not a walking advertisement for the Olympics. The reference to this one, it's really long. I won't bore you with it. You can go see it on the website. It comes with all of its links, and as always, we put all the links in prior to polish, so everything gets done uniformly. I would always recommend that. Exhibition case back, as we said right there, and that's showcasing the automatic Omega coaxial caliber 8800, and this one's from June 2021 with its full box and paperwork, and it's got the correct box and paperwork. These came with special Tokyo Olympics boxes, so always make sure it has that. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Now this is obviously the larger case size with the new 42mm case. It does wear bigger, but it still wears really, really well, and it's actually very comfortable because it's 42mm but by 50mm lug to lug, which is kind of like one of the maximum I personally go for, so it hugs the wrist nicely. 13.5mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug, so endless options. Omega even do fitted rubber straps, which would look fantastic on this one as well. So go check it out on the website today. From there over to probably my favorite watch actually on the table today, and that is this Fluron 18 karat rose gold or pink gold, manually wound 35mm with bomb lugs or Bombay lugs, however you want to say it. Really, really lovely thing, and priced incredibly well. Again, second time I've had this one. I'm always happy to buy this one back, to be honest. This is so lovely, and one I would keep if I didn't have so many watches already. So let's take a closer look. And here we go on to the Fluron. Now, I am always amazed and impressed by how many brands there were out there and watches that we just really know very little about anymore and rarely see. You know, I haven't actually ever had, other than this one that I've had previously, another Fluron. I've never seen any others, and yet this is one of the most beautiful watches I've seen, especially at its price, in 18 karat rose or pink gold, whatever you want to call it, with these Bombay or bomb lugs that just hang off the case almost like lobster claws. Just beautiful, really elegantly done. Nice crown at 3 o'clock, simple polished case back right there, and inside is a manually wound AS caliber 1187, so it's got a sort of very reliable workhorse movement, made in Switzerland, and that extravagant exploding dial with applied indices as well. It's just really beautifully done from a brand that we know very little about, as I said, and I see very little of. Yet this case, you know, if this was a Longines or something like that, it'd be a hell of a lot more money. And yet, because it's a Fluron that no one's heard of, it is very affordable, which is great for you collectors out there who are looking for a solid gold dress watch that isn't going to break the bank, but also looks completely unique. You know, it's really wonderful and punches well above its price point. So yeah, not a huge amount more to say on this one. So let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. I mean, that just looks incredible, especially for the price. This is 35mm by 43mm lug to lug, only 8.5mm on the thickness and 18mm on the lug, so endless options for this one, with a brown suede I think suits it beautifully. So go check it out on the website today. Now on to a Unimatic U1-MLM Messinalab. This is the second one I have that will be on the website, also full set and also one of 200 of course. So I have, what is that, 1% of the total of all these watches currently in my stock, which is pretty crazy. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now for a Unimatic collaboration with Messinalab, this is the U1-MLM, limited to 200 pieces total, and this is number 99 as stated on the case back. And as I say, at the time of recording this video, I have another one on the website, which means I own 1% of the entire entirety of this model right now, which is pretty cool. Really nice blue, matte blue dial, matte blue bezel. Contrasts nicely against the maxi style loom plots and the iconic, I would say now iconic, Unimatic hands and case profile, which is the U1 range with the screw down crown, and it comes on this very nice Velcro fabric strap, which you fold through like so and then fold over to where you need it to be and wear and enjoy. It's from circa 2020, does come with its box and paperwork as well as 2 additional straps in the box, and inside behind that nicely decorated caseback it's an automatic Seiko caliber NH35A. So let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, comfortably fitted on my 7-inch wrist. I think it looks superb on this strap. It is 41.5mm by 49mm lug to lug, 13.5mm on the thickness and 22mm on the lugs, and with the 3 straps total, I think you're pretty set. So go check it out on the website today. And last but by no means least, a really lovely Grand Seiko manually wound 36.5mm from 1967. A really wonderful thing and priced incredibly well because of the patina on the dial, which we'll take a closer look at. So let's have a look. Now for a very nice and attractive and well priced Seiko Grand Seiko from circa 1967, and based on the serial number, we've dated it to circa September 1967 to be exact, and that's the great thing about Seikos and Grand Seikos. You can age them quite accurately on their manufacture via those numbers. Now the reference to this one is 5722-9991, and inside is a manually wound Seiko caliber 5722, which is actually quite an early quick set date model, so you can actually quick set the date, which is very convenient. Really beautiful Seiko sign crown right there, always love seeing those, and the gold medallion Grand Seiko caseback, which is quite iconic and obviously has been reincorporated in the modern watches. Very nicely done. Now the reason this is so affordable for what it is you can see the patina on the dial. The lacquer has basically sort of come away in certain areas, just through age and wear and possibly other things as well. So yeah, it's not the most uniform dial, and therefore it's priced very well, but to be honest, on wrist it doesn't bother me at all, and I think it looks absolutely incredible. Applied Seiko and Grand Seiko logo, nice indices, big date at 3 o'clock, and the sword hands right there. Big thick lugs with those beautiful chamfers and edges still very much present, which is always great to see. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Now this wears a hell of a lot larger than the 36.5mm case would lead you to believe, because it's 36.5 by 43mm lug to lug, and the lugs are super fat, making it wear very well. 11mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lug, so a little awkward, but plenty of options out there. So go check out this wonderful watch on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls, this week's drop. 7 awesome watches to look at right now. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what's your favorite, including the ones that I've sold. So you can be cheeky and throw in that Omega Constellation, which if I'm looking at all of them that would have been in the drop, I would probably say that Constellation was my favorite as well. Second is the Fluron, then probably the Cartiers. I mean, I would happily wear every single watch in this week's drop, easily. So I look forward to hearing what it is, and if you are following on Instagram, that's where you'll be kept up to date with what's going on. By that I mean when our son is here and all that kind of details. If you are interested in those kind of things, I completely understand. If not, if you want to stick to the watches, I get it. But of course, running the business myself, I have to also keep those things up to date, so you're aware of what's going on. But yeah, that should mean, all being well, touch wood, and all things going smoothly, he is here right now is the time you're watching this video. I have 2 children and my life has changed forever again. So very exciting, very nerve-wracking, and yeah, already getting no sleep, so it's just going to get worse, but we'll get there, we'll get there. All right, I look forward to seeing you again next week, which will probably be recorded in just a few days after I'm recording this one. So it's very short for me, and then there'll be a long time of nothing. So we'll see you all again then. Take care.